definitely the first to offer year-round training for the club. So as it stands, the expectation for every player is that they train through the winter. If you want to be part of the club and take advantage of everything we offer, you should be training from November through March. That's a huge span of time. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys as parents that are within the club about how that makes the biggest difference in the player's development. They're like, man, fall was great, but the difference we saw in our daughter between November and March, that was the difference. It you know, the biggest difference. It was incredible. I also am battling, we always have to battle with other commitments. And, you know, while we're quite flexible, we also offer so many opportunities that we want you guys to have the kids take advantage of the opportunities. We want the open training policy through the winter to be taken up. You know, if you can train 3 times a week through the winter, do so. Make it to shooting class, do so. That goes with a year-round open training policy, that we were the first to have an open training policy. That is very important to our club. It makes sure that coaches are communicating about players. We talk about players all the time. And it only helps when, if Jolt and I are having a conversation about a player, it helps a lot when that player has been to both of our practices. And we can kind of give feedback and get an idea and get perspective. This one, we put up maybe, when this new website came up last October, the whole West Alliance, and then underneath it says West Michigan's Premier Club. And this just illustrates just how copied we are. So another club in the area has put up in the last 2 months, the Premier Soccer Club in West Michigan. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, I don't know if people can't come up with things on their own, or they're just not creative, or we're that good. But for me, I guess it's flattery, the idea that that's the ideal. It definitely bothers me, to be quite honest, but every time this happens. We are the first in the area that club that's been competitive, that has taken the idea that coaches are role models. And if I know that's a fact, because other clubs, they allow certain behavior, they allow certain things to happen off the field and on the field, and they say, it's okay, you can keep coaching for us because maybe your team's winning, or because, you know, certain age groups are going to fall apart if you're not with us. We will stay with that and stay that course. It's very important to us. Then just the idea of club tournament and outside coaches, and no idea what that means, so let's move on. Outside coaches, meaning we're bringing in Bob Gansler, and we brought in John Bloom from Ohio State. We've brought in coaches from all over the Midwest to work with our kids. So, on club culture, we're talking just a note on tournament attendance. It's expected that kids go to tournaments, because it's very difficult to to find replacements. It's also very difficult to kind of change your system based on who's not there. That's important for us. And then the next idea is teamwork being more important than individuals. We've hit on that before, but it also kind of works into our style of play. And I've got a couple of video clips here that I want to talk about that Dylan's going to bring up. And can you get that full screen? The first one is Barcelona, which right now is the You can turn the music up. I like music. I don't need to talk. Turn the music up. I like the music. Okay, yeah, hold the second one for a second, though. It's not that we think we're Barcelona or we're even close. But if you watch Barcelona, you will find that everybody's getting involved and on the ball. And that's the whole idea, is that we want to make sure that we are not, that we don't ignore certain positions and ignore certain players. And that is hard to do. It helps development of the kids to do it that way, but if you play in a way that might help you win games, which is more direct, which I talk about at the end, targeting one player, it might be great at U11, U12, U13, and it might make that player up top excellent because he's getting on the ball all the time, but it doesn't make the other 5 or 6 kids good. And it's not effective as a style of play anywhere past 16. It just doesn't work. So you guys might look at results sometimes and you might say, man, that team's really good. And parents can get caught into that trap. But are they really good, or is it 6'4", U12 Johnny who can just run over kids the whole time? And how are the other kids doing? And how are they playing? And if you get your child involved in a style of play that the ball circulates, and you're not afraid as a team to use the players and to pass, ultimately, everybody improves, and the team will succeed at a higher level eventually, and the players will succeed at a higher level. The second clip, and I really don't want anybody to confuse the idea of, and this is a bit longer, which is fun, but don't confuse the idea of playing direct or playing long ball with counterattacking, because you'll see in these counterattacking clips, counterattacking is when you're on your own half and you win the ball and you, as fast as you can, get to the other side, to their goal. Counterattacking at its best involves 4 to 5 players, not 2. Not one ball play to the next guy. Because when it involves 2 players, at a higher, there's no chance it'll happen at a higher level. So I think one of the things we're going to be working on in the next couple of years is improving how we react going forward and how aggressive we are when we win the ball in our own half, getting forward and countering. So here's a clip of counterattacking. I hope the music was as good as our last one. That's 7 players. it said text on there. What is that? Did anybody get it? Oh, you got it? Okay, excellent. Nice job. Okay, so two more items here. Well, actually, this could be it. New this year, we in terms of our winter programming, and we're going to be getting full information out about this soon, but our goal is to have our high school players training Sunday through Thursday. So for U15 and up, it should be competition on Sunday, training or competition on Monday, and then going to the Kroc Center, which is a nice facility there that a lot of you guys have been to, for strength, conditioning, and skills training, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is for 15s and up, which means that we'll have up to 20-year-olds there, players that want to compete in college, preparing them from college. It also means that it's for both genders. And while 3 days a week, having your kids head over to do this sort of thing seems like a lot, we're really hoping that we can make this program a success by balancing school and balancing social things and putting the kids in a position where they can become the best athletes they can be. We're going to be working in the next 2 months, Ryan Jolt, myself, and Dan, on putting the program together that is going to allow the kids to kind of lead themselves with our direction. We'll hold them accountable because they'll be handing in their progress. We'll be testing them in certain areas, and over the 3-month period, our hope is that the kids grow quite a bit in these areas. It's not going to work, I realize, for everybody to make it 3 days a week. But like I said, the hope is that we can balance schedules and maximize the opportunity. Some people have inquired about 14-year-olds joining in, and we're keeping it at 15-year-olds, at 15 and up, because we feel that that's the appropriate age. And if we start saying, hey, 14-year-olds can come, then it gives them something less to look forward to for the following year. We have so many 15 through 20-year-olds right now in the club. We have, I believe, is it 10 new teams for the spring? So we have 10 teams that are going to be joining in the spring that haven't even played with us so far. It represents the most premier club, or most premier teams in any club in those age groups in West Michigan. And so with that, we feel we've got a strong responsibility to prepare them properly. Also new this year is Lakeshore training. So we've got, we're trying to make sure that the people that have been driving from Holland and Muskegon and Grand Haven, and there are a lot of those families that we're putting them in a position where they, instead of having to go an hour, go 25 minutes and can get us there with them. So I think it's an 8-week program that we've got, and we'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we'll add more in the future. You should be getting information about the competitions in the next couple weeks. We have, for our top teams, we're inquiring into Wixom leagues, which would take us January and February, where we'd go and get a couple games a day. For high school kids, there will be an adult futsal league. And we have some tournaments where the kids can go and get a couple games, and that's been quite effective. Many of our teams, 5 of them, almost 100 kids are going to be going down to Tampa for the Super Y National Tournament. That for us it's our 4th year going, and it's just a fantastic opportunity. We're also right now in the process of figuring out if going to, is it the Mayor's Cup? Is that what it's called? The Mayor's Cup in Las Vegas, which is a 400 to 500 team tournament that attracts teams from 12 different countries and 400 college coaches are there. So that's something that we're looking at as well. With anything, we hope that you can be patient as we're pulling this together. And if we are talking about 27 teams, and it takes a while to make sure that it's the right fit for everybody. If you are looking for something that your team doesn't offer, make sure that you get the word out and inquire about it, and we may be able to fit you in on another team. This might be the last chance. Did anybody get 72? Is that for anybody? Nice. Good work. Good work. And just in closing, I really appreciate everybody coming. It is 9 o'clock. Brenda, should I open it for questions, or do you have something? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just thought of this, and since you are mostly spring-only teams, I've gotten a lot of questions about uniforms and how do I get my uniform. I'm assuming after tryouts that we're holding November 6th, we'll have complete rosters, and at some point, your team manager will be contacting you, or maybe at tryouts, for player numbers, because we're renumbering because it's all new uniforms. Then Leanna will get all that information to Eurosport, and you will get an email directly to you saying it's time to order your uniform. It'll show a picture of the uniform, and it'll have all the information on it. So just wait for that email. If you don't get one, I'm assuming your team manager will let you know, hey, the email has gone out or it's going out. Eventually on the team website, you'll be able to go